Good morning and welcome to GIS 245 or GIS 1. This is Maps and Spatial Information. And this is both the online section and the in-class section. And my name's Lynn Songer. I'm the instructor. This class in-class meets 9 to 11:20. We've got a lot of seats available, so if you're an online student and you want to drop into class for any reason, there is space for you. I'm required to give you my email, but as we'll talk about later, that's not the best way to get in touch with me. Office hours will be before class, 8 to 9. Wow, see, this is why I put this on here, so I can do this as we... Nope. That's right. It is right. I have another class. Yeah. 8 to 9 on Mondays and Wednesdays, and Tuesday, Thursday, 2 to 3, although I'm usually in the classroom before class on Monday and Tuesday. So hopefully you've taken 151, and if you haven't, that's not a deal breaker, because the beginning of the chapter is really intended for people who've had no GIS experience. If you had 151, you're going to find that the first 3 weeks are very much of a review of the last 4 weeks of 151. The textbook you need is Mastering ArcGIS 10 by Mary Beth Price, edition 6, and the edition is critical because in the more current editions she addresses some software changes. You can get this online used very cheaply, and I have the data that you need and the video pieces that you will need. So if you find a used one that doesn't have a CD, you'll be fine. You probably need at least 16 gigabytes, and that may even be old information. I think with the imagery that we work with, often you need more space than that. Of a Google Drive account. Now that Lane has a Google account, most of you should have a Google Drive, and this is perfect for sharing large data files. Moodle has a pretty small capacity. So there are 7, we're going to go over 7 chapters in the first 7 chapters of edition 6, and so there is a question summary at the end of each chapter. Those are worth 5 points. There will be 8 exercises that you do. There's one that is not in price that I've included. We're also going to have a discussion and reading about the GIS Code of Ethics, so that you guys kind of get a sense of the dilemmas that people face in the GIS world. There is a midterm that is on Moodle. There is a skill exam that is open book, open note, and you'll do that either in the lab or at home. There's a final exam in week 10, and then there's a project that's worth 100 points. And if I did my math correctly, this should be worth a total of 40 points or 400 points. And I'm going to only score your material out of 390, so that allows for missing an assignment without any damage to your grade, and if you do them all, it's a little bit of extra credit. Pass no pass in this class is a 69.9.5, and no pass is less than 69.5. Sometimes I think I do these things in my sleep, and then I look at them and wonder. Okay, so this is a lecture and lab class. There's going to be some lecture for those of you online, and those of you in class, there are video postings of the PowerPoints lectures. I'll do a software demo. There will be open times during the week where you can use the lab, and the software we're using is ArcMap or ArcInfo 10.6.1. If you did not take 151, or you took 151 in the spring of last year, you should have gotten an EVA code, and directions for installing the software on your PC or your Mac with Boot Camp. All right. I'm trying something really new this year, and I'm really hoping that it works. I'm going to miss all of this stuff. Actually, I'm going to go into Moodle. So we've got the standard first Moodle section that has news forum. Please check that regularly. This is a link for installing the price data in clips, but to be honest with you, it's probably easier just to download them from my Google Drive. I want you to be able to use Jing for screen capturing and videos for problem solving. So if you haven't used that before, here's a video. Jing works on a Mac PC and it's free. There's some ArcGIS videos about how to do different things that you may or may not find useful. And then there is an installation PDF if you haven't installed ArcGIS. I also added an Excel spreadsheet that you may want to use to follow your scores, then trust the Moodle site. One of the things that we discovered is if you don't take a test or don't turn in an assignment, there is a 0 is not automatically entered, and so your grade looks artificially high. So that caught a few people by surprise in the last term. So this you should be able to just put your scores in there, and it will add up your grade point average out of 400. You can see that the grade has been calculated out of 390. So some of you may find that helpful. I don't know if this will work in Google Docs, but somebody will let me know, I'm sure. So this is the way each week should look. There's a little bit of difference in week 5 where we have our first exam. But I have a folder, and in this folder there is a PowerPoint note guide for the lecture. So there's 2 lectures. One is kind of the introduction to GIS, and then chapter 1. And then this week I've given you a really badly scanned copy of the first chapter in the book. And so let's take a look at that. Yeah, isn't that, I didn't scan it. Okay, so let's do this. So chapter 1, the first several pages are called Mastering the Concepts, and this is the theoretical or the conceptual pieces of the chapter. I would pay attention to the bolded terms. Those are usually pretty important. Talks about rasters, different data models, and we're going to scroll down here. For those of you in GIS 151, we worked primarily in a data model called a shapefile, and this time we're going to work in geodatabases as well. She talks about scale. This is, gosh, the first 3 weeks of GIS 151. So when you finish this is huge. This is a big chapter. Anyway, at the end of this chapter, there is, when it ever ends, I think this is the most dense chapter in the textbook. All right. So there's kind of a summary of the chapter, the big ideas, and then there's a terminology list, and then there are chapter review questions. And so these chapter review questions are worth 5 points, and some people prefer to read the text and answer the questions. Some people prefer to read the text, do the tutorial and the exercises, and then the questions are easier to answer. So there was never kind of a perfect time for me to require these. So these are going to be due Sunday night You're going to just upload a Word document with the questions numbered 1 through 10 and your answers. And then I will post the correct or the expected answers on Monday. And it may take me a couple days to get through everybody's and score them. So this will be a lot of the content for the exams, these terms and review questions. Then comes mastering the skills, which is basically the step-by-step tutorial. And the tutorial has some questions embedded. So step 1, step 2, step 3, somewhere in here there will be a question. And in the back of the book, she's provided the answers to these questions. She's also provided a short video for each step. So there is a video for Chapter 1, Step 1. There's a video for Chapter 2, Step 2. And I find that those videos are so helpful, especially when I don't quite understand her directions, or sometimes the directions may miss a step, and when I see her perform that action, then it's really clear. In the past, I have required students to get screenshots and turn in the answers. Here's one. What is the name of the county in the northeast corner of Oregon? Just to ensure that they do them. And the answers are in the back of the book. So I am not requiring you to turn these in this term. I'm going to scroll down here to finish this up. So she's got 48, 50 videos, right? So in the past, I asked these to be turned in by Thursday, and then the exercises, the next part would be due next week. If you don't do these, I think you're not going to be successful with the exercises. So basically, you can go through these step-by-step tutorial and be successful and never learn anything. It's the exercises where you're going to stand a chance of learning and understanding. And so go through these. Make sure you're taking notes. I would print this out or write in the book and use that as a working book for you. I've done that. There are several tasks that I don't do but once a year, and I never remember what the steps are. And I mark up my copy of this very heavily. So I encourage you to do these. Don't do them at your own peril. Okay, so the exercises. So at the end of each chapter, there are several exercises and often a challenge question. And so I will give you a document. So now let's go back into Moodle. Let's see if I have any. Yes, so here are some extra instructions. I want you to make sure that you name your exercise document with your last name and EO1. That way I know what I've graded and I know who I'm grading. I say do exercises 1 through 6, 8 through 10, and skip number 7. For 10, I want a Jing image of your map, not of your desktop, and you're going to add that to the Word doc. And then for number 6, here's a hint. Lots of times people can't find that layer she's referring to. So make sure you read these ahead of time and that you know what I'm looking for. And then on Monday, I will post the expected, what I was looking for in answers, and I will also post short video clips of how to do each step, which is really painful, by the way. And if you did it fine, you don't have to watch them. If there's one that you were stuck on, hopefully that will help you. And sometimes there are different ways of doing tasks in ArcGIS. So basically that is the process. All of your maps will need to have source data, and here is the preferred source data. So if you're in the Oregon data file, that's what you would call it, and this is all you have to do is copy and put that on your map. So let me see, where am I? So on Monday, I will post a document similar to this that shows the answers that I'm looking for, and I may have some screenshots. You can see that's not my desktop, that's a Jing clip or a snippet clip of the map in the correct projection. So hopefully I will get that posted up for you by Monday, so you can check your answers and move on. I'll go over them in class on Tuesday, and as I said, this is a lot of scoring, and so I may not actually post a grade for a few days, but you'll know what's correct and what I'm looking for as you move on to the next chapter. Here is in chapter 2, I have again there's some directions, some things I want you to do different. She asks you to make one document with 4 data frames, means 4 smaller maps. I want you to practice making maps, and I want you to make 4 separate maps. So you've got to make sure that you look at that and know what I'm looking for. All right, is there anything else? I close this. So our exam is going to open on the Saturday of week 4 and close on the Wednesday of week 5, and then on Thursday we will have a data creation and digitizing exercise, and as we move through the chapter. Let's see, where is my, here we go. Okay. It's like to read this aloud, and I do much better editing. Okay, so alert there. Last term, don't wait till the last minute to take the exam. Things happen. The exams are open for 4 days, and so make sure you get that done on time, so I can get them graded and you can avoid disasters. If you're taking this off campus, you'll need to arrange for a proctor, and here's the proctor link. And one of the goals for this class is going to really work on the visualization and the cartography. So at the end of this class and the end of the next class, you have a map portfolio that shows not just the breadth and of the work that you can do, but the quality of the work that you can do. Because anybody can make a map, but as you may know already, it takes some extra effort to really make a map that delivers the information that you're looking for and is clear. And that is, as I've said before, I use a lot of map books, and I copy ideas because I am not visual in that way as far as artistic. Okay, Thursday is where we're going to do the exercise that does not have summary questions, and this is not in the text. So then we'll do week 5, week 6. Week 7 will be our last price exercise, or last price chapter, and you will not do the exercises that week. We will just do the tutorial, and I have a guide for you, what I want you to turn in for the tutorial. And what's really fun about this chapter is that's really the overlay, the decision making that can be done with GIS. So that brings us to the final projects, and for this class, I am assigning well, I'm not assigning projects. I have 4 project options that you can choose from. None of them involve dams or water, but that can happen in 246. What I want you not to do is spend a lot of time collecting and finding data. I want you to be able to analyze data, manipulate data, geoprocess everything that we've worked on in class, joining tables, creating XY events from lat-long tables, and then putting that into a large poster format. Being able, as you know from 151, if you took that, trying to find the data that you needed can bring you down or take you down lots of little unproductive rabbit holes, which is probably never ever true, by the way. But anyway, for GIS it's probably true. Down rabbit holes that you know you got to start over, or you don't find exactly the data you want. So I'm going to give you I think it's 4 projects, may just be 3, but maybe I'll think of another one before them, that will cover all of the analysis and data creation and data file management that I want you to be able to master by the end of this class. So the final exam, again, will open up in week 10, opens on Saturday, closes Wednesdays. There is no skill exam for that. The skill exam will actually be your project, and as you can see, it's worth 100 points. So you will have plenty of time to work on your projects, and the project presentations are due during finals week. Is that it? Yes. Yes, yes. Okay, so as I said, my major anxiety and trepidation is that you will not do the tutorials, and even doing the tutorials, there are people who have not been able to do the exercises. So I'm going to treat you as adults that you are, and if you get stuck, come see me. We'll work them through. Make sure that you, if you're online or over the weekend, use Jing, use the video capture. If you know, sometimes I've seen a lot of these errors. It's like, oh yeah, I know what that is. If we find errors or glitches, we can post them. I will open up. I'm not doing that. I swear I am not doing that. We will open up a student forum that we can post if you guys find things that you notice are broad scale errors or my infamous typos. Anyway, I'm glad to have you all. We have a class of 17, which is really, really going to be fun.